Groundwater resources have not always been used and managed wisely. Without sound management of our water resources, they can be overused, polluted, or even depleted. The Southeast Texas Groundwater Conservation District was formed by local people with local control working together to protect and preserve the plentiful, good quality groundwater within our district. Groundwater is an essential resource that we all depend on daily in Southeast Texas. Approximately 100,000 acre-feet or 32 billion gallons of groundwater are used from wells at our homes, municipalities, businesses, and industries each year within the district. In Jasper, Newton, Tyler, and Hardin counties, the preferred method of managing groundwater is by a local board of local people knowledgeable of the available groundwater resources and how to best manage them. Voters in these counties supported local control and management over our most precious natural resource rather than just allowing it to be used without any oversight at all or taking the risk of some unknown governmental agency stepping in. The creation of the Southeast Texas Groundwater Conservation District came about in two basic steps. First, in the 78th regular Texas legislative session, Senate Bill 1888 authorized the creation of the district and set out guidelines for creation. Second, the voters of Jasper and Newton counties confirmed the district in November of 2004. Shortly thereafter, the Commissioners' Courts of Hardin and Tyler counties learned more about the benefits of belonging to a groundwater conservation district and petitioned the district for inclusion. In November of 2005, the voters of Hardin and Tyler counties voted in favor of joining the Southeast Texas Groundwater Conservation District. Each member county is represented on the board by individuals and local water professionals from municipalities and industries in the district. The board is made up of 13 members. 3 board members are appointed from each of the 4 counties and are selected by their respective Commissioners' Court or City Council. The president of the board is selected by the Commissioners' Court of all 4 counties. The Board of Directors is responsible for the policy making of the district. They meet the second Thursday of each month except in August and December at the offices of Jasper Newton Electric Co-op on Highway 96 in Kirbyville. The public is welcomed and encouraged to attend these meetings to provide the district with their invaluable personal knowledge and opinions. Southeast Texans are fortunate to have large amounts of good quality groundwater available. We receive an average of 54 inches of rain each year to recharge the aquifers and keep our many lakes and streams flowing. Although studies indicate less than 1% of the rainfall received contributes to the recharge of the local aquifers. Due to the minimal amount of water that reaches the aquifer, the board members realize they have the management responsibility of an invaluable resource. Groundwater is defined as water percolating below the surface of the earth. It is the water that flows freely to the surface from flowing springs or is pumped into our homes, schools, and businesses from wells. A hand-dug well serving an individual family may be less than 50 feet deep, while a municipal well may be near 1,500 feet deep and pump more than 2,500 gallons of water per minute. All of the public water supply systems within the district utilize and supply only groundwater to their customers. The water industry commonly refers to large amounts of water in acre-feet of water. 1 acre-foot refers to just what it says, 1 acre of land covered in 12 inches of water, and equals 325,851 gallons of water. The average family of 4 will use about 72,000 gallons of water each year. The major aquifer that lies under our district is known as the Gulf Coast Aquifer. The Gulf Coast Aquifer is made up of smaller aquifers and includes the Chico Aquifer, Evangeline Aquifer, the Burkeville Aquiclude, and Jasper Aquifer. The district shares the same major aquifer with some of our neighboring counties. Some of these areas have not always managed the groundwater resources wisely, and as a result, in place of groundwater districts, some counties have subsidence districts. Subsidence is caused by overdrawing the aquifer, which can cause the soils and clays to compact. resulting in a lowering of the ground surface. Because water is so essential for man to exist and prosper, it needs to be soundly managed. It's hard to find anything that doesn't need water in its manufacturing, and in many cases, large amounts of groundwater. Did you know that it takes over 1,850 gallons of water to process a barrel of crude oil? That's 44 gallons of water to process each gallon of crude oil. Over 39,000 gallons of water to manufacture and assemble all the parts needed to make just one car. Over 62,000 gallons of water to produce 1 ton of steel. The district is a political subdivision of the state and was established by legislation. This enacting legislation addresses administrative issues, such as the number of board members and the allowable production fees the district can charge. Chapter 36 of the Texas Water Code establishes guidelines for the district's management and is the umbrella under which the creation and operation of most groundwater districts are legislated. The district rules and the management plan were adopted and implemented by the board after public notice and a hearing. The information contained in these documents can be found on the district's website. The management plan outlines the district's resources and its goals and objectives for the aquifer, and the district's rules lay out the manner in which the wells are registered, permitted, drilled, and operated. The district recognizes 2 classes of wells, exempt and non-exempt. An exempt well is not required to be metered or report the amount of water pumped from the well. These wells are typically domestic wells, and those used for exploration of hydrocarbons, such as oil and gas, as well as smaller agricultural and livestock wells. The Board of Directors has never considered requiring meters on individual domestic exempt wells. Knowing the location of exempt wells allows the district to better protect them. Without a groundwater conservation district in place, Texas law allows unlimited pumping regardless of the damage it may cause to surrounding wells, provided it isn't wasteful or malicious. This is known as the rule of capture. The groundwater district acts on behalf of the property owners to protect them against potential rule of capture abuse. All new exempt wells must be registered with the district prior to drilling. Exempt well registration only requires that a 1-page form be filled out and signed by both the landowner and well driller. There are no fees required or associated with registering an exempt well. By registering your exempt well and providing its location, the district is in a better position to protect it, and it will also provide information for future planning of the groundwater resource. The second class of well is non-exempt. Non-exempt wells must be permitted with the district prior to drilling. These wells are typically municipal, industrial, or commercial wells and do not fall into one of the exempt categories. These wells are required to go through a permitting process and are required to be metered and to report the amount of water pumped from these wells. The board can require non-exempt entities requesting a permit to have a hydrogeological study performed to show what effects the intended pumping will have on the aquifer and potentially any neighboring wells. The district can use this and other information to either permit the well as requested, permit it for a portion of the requested amount, or to deny the permit in its entirety. This process protects the rights of both the existing landowner and the entity requesting the permit. The following is an example of why registering exempt wells is important, whether it is a new well or a previously existing well. Let's pretend you have a 1-acre homestead down a nice farm-to-market road, and you rely solely on your well for all your water needs. Now, picture the neighboring property being sold to another entity with the intentions to pump large amounts of water. Remember what was mentioned earlier about the rule of capture? If no groundwater conservation district was in play, the entity could pump as much water out of the aquifer as they wanted, potentially causing the water level in your well to drop dramatically or even become a dry hole. and you would have no legal recourse. By requiring the non-exempt well to be permitted, the district can look at the amount of water that the entity intends to pump, as well as the location of known wells that already exist nearby, and consider these factors as well as others prior to the issuance of an operating permit. In cases where there is concern about the effects of a new well, the district can issue a provisional operating permit and require the new well and surrounding wells to be monitored for a period of time prior to issuing a full operating permit. The district is funded by pumping fees collected on non-exempt wells. The enacting legislation sets a maximum allowable fee of 1 cent per each 1,000 gallons of groundwater pumped. Currently, the Board of Directors has limited the pumping fee to 7/10 of 1 cent per 1,000 gallons of water pumped. That's equivalent to only $7 per million gallons of water. The fees collected by the district are used to pay operating expenses that include performing groundwater studies, employing staff to maintain an office and website, collect field data on wells, and process well permit requests as needed. In 2005, the Texas legislature, in an effort to promote a more practical regional planning strategy, passed House Bill 1763, making some significant changes to Chapter 36 of the Texas Water Code, which, as mentioned earlier, is the guidelines under which our groundwater district is operated. The most significant change to come from this bill was the requirement of water use planning within groundwater management areas, or GMAs. Ours is GMA 14. GMAs are regional water planning groups based on shared aquifers. The planning calls for the setting of desired future conditions, or DFC, of the aquifer through the year 2060. This DFC will be submitted to the Texas Water Development Board, and they will in turn run a groundwater availability model and issue a MAG. The MAG is the Managed Available Groundwater. This MAG will set a very specific number as to how much water use can be permitted by the district so that the desired future conditions are met. This planning will ensure that the Gulf Coast aquifer within the district will remain a stable and reliable source of fresh water. House Bill 1763 also provides that the DFCs be resubmitted at least every 5 years to allow for modification as needed. By using all these tools the district has in its toolbox to effectively manage the Gulf Coast aquifer within the district, the groundwater needs of its citizens and businesses will be met for generations to come. For more information, contact the district office located at 271 East Lamar, Jasper, Texas. You can also call us at area code 409-383-1577 or visit us at our website at www.setgcd.org. A note of thanks to Mr. Walter R. Glenn and the original founding board is necessary for having been wise enough and having the foresight to see the need for managing our groundwater resources before it became a critical issue.